Hello again. We are now at the very last session of the conference, and it's always bittersweet. But this is really an amazing group of men that will end this conference. It is the PAAC, and the PAAC invites people that are over the age of 18 to join their activities, which are many and varied. And you're going to hear from them. Some of the PAAC members are here, some of them are out front, in front of the stage. So this is going to be what Patrick Moeschen calls a free-for-all, and we all love a free-for-all, good free-for-all. So for now, I'm going to turn this over to Patrick Moeschen, and he's going to introduce the PAAC.
Thank you very much, Pat. And I think I echo everyone's sentiments here that we've really cranked out, I think, what is the best conference in the 30 years of PPMD. But we'll do the rah-rah stuff later. But I just hope that you've had such a wonderful experience as we all have, because it's been an awesome weekend. And again, I love being a part of the best family that I never wanted to join. So as Pat said, we are the PAAC, which is the Patient Adult Advisory Committee. And we work very hard to allow every individual living with Duchenne and Becker to have their best life, Duchenne and Becker and carriers. And anyone is welcome to join us over the age of 18. And if you have Duchenne and Becker, we open up our ranks in November and December, and we'll do a big push for membership. I did not start the PAAC, but next year the PAAC turns 10. And when I got involved in the PAAC, we were at about 9 or 10 members. Some of them have been on the PAAC for the entire lifetime of the organization. But now I'm happy to admit that we're at almost 50 members and going strong. And we run mentoring programs. We do online social meetups. We work on social, emotional, and mental health and well-being, as well as comparing medical and research notes. But we leave that all to the smart people. We just run programming for ourselves to live our best lives. So I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves, just give you their name, where they're from, and their age. And we have a few PAAC members up here, a few more down at the front, and Kayla can have them introduce themselves too. And there are also some scattered PAAC members around the conference. So we call this session Ask the Experts, Ask Us Anything. No subject is off limits, and we hope to have a nice conversation for the next half hour or so, just about how we live our lives in the world of muscular dystrophy. So we'll start with our PAAC president, Colin Werth. Colin, tell everyone what your name is.
Thank you, Pat. It's so wonderful to be here, always wonderful to be here. So I'm Colin Werth. I'm 29 years old with Duchenne. As Pat mentioned, I'm the president. So I've been with the PAAC since the early beginning in 2016. So excited to see how the PAAC has grown over the years to now 50. And as Pat said, yeah, I mean, we consider each other family. We're very, very close to each other. So yeah, excited to be here. I'm from Virginia. It's a small town in South Central Virginia.
Outstanding. Good. Adith, will you tell everyone what your name is? That joke's not funny anymore.
Yeah. It gets dry the second time. Hi, everyone. My name is Adith Thummalapalli. I'm 26. I'm from Salisbury, Maryland, and I've been on the PAAC since 2020, so about 4 years now.
Next. Go for it, buddy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elliott Johson. I'm from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, and I am 20 years old, living with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And I just joined the PAAC recently, this past January.
Excellent.
You didn't try your joke again, Pat.
I have another one after you're done.
Okay. We'll see if it's funny or not.
Oh, it'll be funny.
Okay. I'm the Bills fan that Adith was mentioning in his panel discussion. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. And I have Duchenne. Oh, my name? I didn't even say that?
No.
I'm Ravi, Lipman. Yeah, I have Duchenne.
So I just briefly, because I know what, you're all going to get to know everybody up here pretty well. Ravi's about to become a lawyer, which please, a round of applause for Lori. But Ravi is that kid, you know, like when you all went to school, there was that one kid that you loved the kid, but like everyone just kind of piled on because he was like always doing something kind of foolish or something, you know, he was that kid at school. You know, everyone loves him, but he's that kid. In the PAAC, Ravi is that kid. We play fantasy football in the fall, and Ravi like smack talks the whole league and then finishes last. So we love Ravioli, and
Did you tell them what my name was?
no. Some things that happen in PAAC stay in PAAC.
Okay.
All right, and then we have a couple of gentlemen that are perched high upon stools, which living with muscular dystrophy makes me very nervous that they're going to fall off their perch. But whatever, go for it, buddy.
Hey everybody, my name's Charlie Riesebeck. I'm 25, have Becker muscular dystrophy, and I'm from Clearwater, Florida. This is my second year on the PAAC.
Excellent.
I'm Nevin Steiner, 40 years old from Wethersfield, Connecticut, originally New York, so I'm the New Yorker that everyone gets on. I have Becker muscular dystrophy. Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Taylor Farrell. I'm 27 years old, and I've been PAAC for a couple years.
Thanks, Caleb. Hi, I'm Stephen Teal. I'm from Statesboro, Georgia, 32. I have Becker muscular dystrophy, and I believe I've been on the PAAC for about 4 years now.
Hello, I'm Kevin Carney. I'm from Orangeburg, New York. I am 21, and I just joined early 2024.
And he's a pepper too.
Hi, I'm Jonah Perez. I'm 25. I just joined the PAAC.
Hello, I'm Michael Voto. I'm 65 years old. I have Becker muscular dystrophy, and I'm the grandpa of the group.
Oh, and we call him that. Voto's the grandpa. So we, you know, wide range of ages.
Already.
We rage sometimes too, but you know, all different career paths. Some of us are married with kids. Some of us have had long careers. Some of us are just getting into careers. I think the theme that you're going to pull out of this is living life with muscular dystrophy does not mean that life stops. It certainly looks different, and it is certainly altered along the way. But what we've been trying to tell everybody all weekend is that we're engineers. And along with you, our families, we solve problems successfully and creatively all day, every day. And sometimes it's really heartbreaking, and other times it's really funny. And a lot of times it's heartbreaking in the moment, but funny later. And when you try to explain this stuff to people, they'd say, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't actually see that it happened, because life gets a little bit crazy. So we're up here to basically open it up to you at the end of the conference when you've been having tons of science talks and all important talks about research and gene therapy and cardiac care and pulmonary and everything else. But when you strip all that away, we're all human beings just like you with wants, needs, desires, and hopes and dreams. And we have just found alternate ways to fulfill all those hopes and dreams. So we have some microphones set up in the aisles, and we also have Brian, if you could wave your paw in the air. Brian is a mic runner, so he can come to you if you're too tired and you don't want to get your steps into the microphone. And there are a few people that are not allowed to go to the microphones. Okay, those people are as follows: John Wing, John Wing, and John Wing. Other than that, everyone may approach and ask us whatever you want. It could be general. If it's a PAAC question, we'll throw it around. Don't be shy, because this is the rest of the panel. Or else we're going to make Adith do his stand-up routine, and then no one's going to want to have dinner. Wow. You have no questions about muscular dystrophy. That's impressive. The whole weekend, you've had every Pat, we don't need to have any more conferences. No one's had any questions.
Okay, Brian, time to go pick people.
John Killian, please stand up.
Yeah. I was just getting a little worried you were going to pace off the front of the stage there, Moeschen, so maybe back up a little.
Can I just say the joke that, like, because so many people in the room are new, that Kevin Smith dropped on you like 15 years ago? That's still funny. Kevin Smith is one of our wonderful friends from down here in Florida, and he's completely out of his mind. And he won't mind if I say he's crazy. He gave a speech about something, and at the end he said, because John's from Texas, and I love this, he goes, everything is bigger in Texas, except John Killian.
That is the oldest retread joke ever.
I know, but you know what? It's still funny. It's still funny.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
I love it. All right, John, what can we do?
Kevin was actually lucky he didn't get arrested on January 6th, so that's not to take it political there. Yeah, my question for, I guess, anybody who wants to take it is, what do you think that this group as parents can do or has done to help you be successful? Because you guys have all kind of found your way. There's a lot of younger parents here. What are some of the things that you know that you did or your parents did to help you be successful?
Nevin?
My parents were always very supportive. They pushed care on me when I didn't need care. They pushed me to go to college, get a job, get married, have a family. And that's the message that I think all parents should take away. Don't hold your kids back, because the lesson is it's not what we can't do, it's what we can do. You want your kids to live fulfilling lives. Is it gonna be hard? Yes, but it's more rewarding when it's hard. In the end, when you have a job and you have a family and you have friends and you're living a full life, it's rewarding when you're doing it, and it's been harder to get there. There's more of a twinkle in your eye.
And if anybody in the front wants to answer, just kind of wave, and Kaylin will come over. Kayla. I have had not enough sleep. Anybody else want to talk about about your parents? Oh, Voto, you're our parents.
For me, it was a little strange. My parents were told when I was 5 I had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and then they were told, oh no, he's fine. So I never knew anything, and I didn't get a real diagnosis till I was 43. So I lived a full life, worked, everything, not even knowing I had a problem. So that was probably one of the best things for me.
Anyone else?
I'll just echo what I said earlier. As parents, support your kids. Don't tell them you can't do something. Tell them, let's figure out how.
I'll weigh in a little bit. So my parents,
Ravi.
I'm one of 3 children, so I guess the biggest thing my parents did was it might sound harsh, but they basically said so what, you have Duchenne, we're still gonna expect stuff from you. We're still gonna expect you to go to school, to do the best that you can do, to get a job. So basically they just treated me exactly like they treated my sisters. And they didn't just listen to my constant complaining and I have Duchenne and guilt tripping. And I feel like a lot of parents there's a tendency to give in to that a little bit, because you feel bad that your son's going through such a difficult time. And it is, but the best thing you can do as a parent is just treat them like you would treat any other child and help them become an adult in the world that's not necessarily built for them.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Anyone else?
I'd like to say, my family, my parents, I have a younger sister that have been, very supportive of me. I think it's important to have that support. I travel, my family and I like to travel, go on vacations. We were recently in Italy last month, and I think it's great to do experiences together as a family that really, family bonding does a lot.
I love that. And later at the party, find Colin and ask him how he successfully, with his power wheelchair, navigated the city of Venice. Ravi, Venice is mostly water.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that.
Google it.
I've been there, so I know what it looks like.
Okay, and of course, again, if you're sitting there thinking, I am not going to a microphone because there's 1,200 people in the room, you can email us. All you need to do is go to the main page of Parent Project, and then you click under Care, and then it's Care for Young Adults and Teenagers, and all of our stuff is there. You can email us at any time. So there's that, or you can come up and find us later for one-on-one conversations. Okay, next question, okay, next question. Yeah, sure.
Earlier, I asked about girls, and I'm interested always in what the young men have to say about that. But I have another question for a friend, my son Chris, and that is, could you talk just a little bit about how some things can turn out to be funny later? I just think it's very cool to have a sense of humor about stuff, and it's a great way of coping.
Do you want us to talk about funny situations with girls or funny situations in general?
That'd be double duty. That would be swell, but whatever you've got.
I recuse myself because I don't want to lose my job.
I mean, I could talk to that
sure, Elliott.
a little bit. I can't go into too many details, just so I don't incriminate myself or whatever. But when I had my spinal fusion surgery, that was a pretty rough ordeal coming out of that. I had a cardiac complication during the surgery and was in a lot of pain after the surgery. I was intubated for a while after the surgery, and when they just extubated me, I was not in a very great mood. I was dropping a lot of expletives that I haven't really used or don't really use in my daily vocabulary that often. But that's something that my family and I still laugh about just how crazy that whole experience was. Yeah.
Anyone down in the front want to?
So, when I was doing my training to learn to drive with the drive a vehicle with the joystick, I was going up the elevator to the office, and I had my service dog with me, and I went in the elevator, and he didn't quite make it, and the button was already pushed. This is the funny story, and he ended up pulled by his harness all the way to the top of the elevator door, and I called for help, and they came over the door and just said, "Oh my goodness," when they saw the dog hanging. But everyone is okay.
What am I talking about? I don't know. I just try to keep the most positive attitude I can. I'm just thankful to be here still, and I'm able to do so much for myself. I fell a year ago, broke my leg, but I'm living my best life still, not a problem. I found this wonderful power wheelchair now, which they all were busting my horns about last year. Oh, gee, you should get a chair, you should get a chair. Well, now I got one.
I can think of been trying to think of a good travel experience, but I think one travel experience that stands out that we obviously laugh about now, but this was in 2010. We were in southern France, in Marseille, changing trains. I remember, we were waiting to find out what platform the train was on, and of course, 5 minutes before the train was about to depart, we finally found out, oh, this is the platform, and we had to race to the platform and just barely made it onto the train. We were throwing the suitcases in the door, and just got me on. This was when I was still ambulatory. So just remember how stressful that was. And now we look at it as one of those funny experiences.
It's not always easy. We don't always have a sense of humor, but I think we all try to live by the credo of, even if something gets screwed up, you try not to let it ruin your whole day. You know, I have a kind of a little mantra I live by. It's called the rule of 10. You know, I say, okay, something happened. Am I still going to be upset about this in 10 minutes? 10 days, 10 months, 10 years. And then that's kind of how I react. If I'm not going to remember it in 10 days, let it go. No big deal. 10 minutes, whatever. Okay?
As far as having a sense of humor goes, one of my personal life rules is every day I try to find the humor in some situation. Mm-hmm. If I don't do that, something is horribly wrong, and somebody call someone because something's going on with me.
The other thing to make sure you realize, a lot of us up here, we speak at least via text almost daily, and we have Zoom meetings, all of us together, but also one-on-one phone calls, and sometimes it's just, hey, you're not going to believe this, or it's, hey, today's a little rough. We just kind of shoot the breeze, and we're all friends. We're all here for each other. So it's just, we got to try and keep a sense of humor, because if you're not laughing, you're crying, and I choose laughter. Mm-hmm. Next.
Yeah.
So I have
Sorry.
2 questions.
Sure, I just behind you, I'm very afraid.
So I guess my first question, I've met a lot of younger men here who are interested in joining. Can you guys talk about, how do you join the PAAC?
It's an extremely rigorous process.
Yeah, we have a background check.
I'm out.
How'd I get on here?
Yeah, as Pat says, we're more of a cult, actually. But we're like the mafia. We're secretly ushering you in.
And just before you explain real quick, when the numbers this year and last year, they just exploded. I had PPMD leadership say to me, well, all these people joining, is anyone coming off the PAAC? And I was like, no. They took the blood oath. At Advocacy in Washington, we took the blood, you can't get out once you're in. People call me, I think I want to drop, no. Anyway, yes. Colin, how do people join?
Yeah, so it's actually quite simple. So towards the end of the year, November, December, we open up applications. So feel free to apply then. And of course, PPMD will make sure, me as the president, I'll make sure that the word gets out there. And thanks. The PPMD team does a great job getting all of our resources out there. I don't know if you know that we also have a quarterly newsletter. You can go to that on our PAAC section of the website. So it's very simple, but we also realize it's a long way away, getting 6 months from now. So we do have every 2 weeks on Saturday right now, we're having a social on Discord, so anyone can come join us and hang out. We've played games. We had our first one on Discord 2 weeks ago when we played a fun game, and I think that we had a blast there. But happy to connect anytime, and we have lots of special guests. So I think that.
For the actual process, again, Discord, all the stuff that we do during the year, it's all on the page. Main page, PPMD, care, young adults. Or the shortcut is parentprojectmd.org/PAAC, P-A-A-C. But it's a Google form, and we want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. We do ask for your resume or CV so we can figure out where your skills lie and where we can best put you to work. And then we ask for 4 or 5 hours a month volunteering on some of our group projects and working through things we're trying to do. And we try to tailor it to everyone's abilities. Some people don't want to speak, so fine, you can work on our advocacy stuff, or we have all these sheets we call one-pagers. So if a family contacts us and says, hey, we're going to travel and we haven't done this before with a wheelchair in a hotel, we have a sheet of hacks that we all made up that we can send out to you. And we're always expanding that. Middle school survival, high school survival, how to do college, flying with a wheelchair, going to a hotel, traveling, how to be social. We have a bunch of them. Things not to do. We had someone request that. You know, what about social not to do's? You know, it's things like don't pat me on the head, because that's happened. It can be kind of annoying that sometimes people like, you know, if you want to get down to the level, fine, but if you're gonna like get down in front of me like you're looking up because you feel good about yourself don't bother. You know, it's stuff like that we've all said this is what bothers. So after that, we read through the applications and stuff, and then we reach out to people and we say, cool. You know, I don't think we've ever rejected anyone, or it certainly would have been Ravi, and if he got in. You know, so that's kind of how it works. And we do it at the end of the year only because it would be too chaotic if we just had it rolling over. We'd never be able to get organized. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Sure. And then my second question is, does the PAAC specifically do anything for siblings? Do you guys have siblings, and do they get together?
Yeah, that's one thing I was talking to someone about that. I know we have the siblings group is kind of for younger teens, but I think we need to have a PAAC version for siblings.
Oh, you mean a working group? Not it.
No.
Somebody
I'm
else.
gonna say not it right now,
Yeah,
because otherwise
so
it'll get stuck on me.
Yeah, no, we're talking about that, and we're certainly thinking about it, and it needs to happen. So,
yeah.
Yes, we will.
And to answer your question, that is my sister. So you do have a sibling. So she was asked if anyone had siblings. So
remember, you've seen the commercials on Orlando television. If you need a lawyer.
This is why you shouldn't have given me a mic.
Right. I was hit by a farm animal, and Ravi Lipman got me $800,000. Sir, I'm going to need you to know your connection to Duchenne.
My name is Jim. For those of you I haven't met, I've been Pat's best friend for 30 some odd years. I've traveled with him many times as his caregiver and his assistant, which is my role here this week. So if anybody wants a funny story, and some of you have heard it, but please ask Patrick about when we were trying to navigate the men's lavatory in Olympic Stadium in Montreal in 2002. Good times. It should be in a book.
Sir, do you have a question?
But just a comment and then a question to sort of follow up inadvertently on something that Ravi's sister brought up. But first of all, I've had the opportunity to assist Pat with a bunch of sessions, and I just want to say from an outsider's perspective, the work that these young men, and not as young men, are doing is really remarkable, and I think that parents, family members of all these members should really be proud. It's really, really an impressive group of people. So bravo. My question that I want to have you speak to the parents of the younger kids, some of whom we worked with this week. We know what you do. We've been hearing what you do, and we know what great work it is. But can some of you give sort of an impact statement? What was your experience with Duchenne or with Becker prior to being in the PAAC? And what impact has being in the group had on you all? Maybe you could share some ideas.
I see what you did there. PAAC impact.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. You want to go, Ravi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say some people that haven't spoken much. But
You want to take it?
You go first.
Nevin.
You go first.
Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, the Becker was definitely less visible than it is now. And when it became visible, I was definitely hiding behind it to a degree, not letting people know that this is what I'm going through, trying to hold back my limitations and just not expose people to it. The PAAC has definitely helped me stop that in every degree of my life. I'm someone that's out there, and I'm someone that's gonna ask perfect strangers for help. I'm gonna ask my friends for help, I'm gonna ask my family for help, I'm gonna ask these guys for help. I'm proud of having Becker, and it's one of the most important things about me because I feel like, you know, having this disease, it makes you stronger, but also stronger to just, you know, tell people that I need help and there's certain things I can't do by myself.
And yeah, I can pretty much echo what Nevin's saying. You know, was hiding behind my disability and not as open about it. And through my membership in the PAAC, it's kind of empowered me more to be more vocal about what it is I deal with on a daily basis, and use my platform to raise awareness and inform more people about Becker.
So for me, what the PAAC has given me is even more of a sense of community, because growing up, I've been a part of different groups, whether it was going to MDA summer camp or the Do It camp at the University of Washington. But being part of the PAAC is pretty funny because it's like a bunch of other people that have gone through the exact same things we've gone through, and you'll even have funny similarities, like all of us complaining about our caregivers or parents keeping the rooms too cold for us because we like it warm, nice at 75.
Yep.
Well, here's how well I know Nevin and Charlie now. When Jonah was just speaking, Nevin and Charlie were very worried that their legs and feet were on camera, so they adjusted to see if they were looking okay. Tell me I'm wrong. See? Yeah. We all read each other's minds. Jets. Terrible. What else? Anyone else before and after PAAC stories?
I just wanted to share my experience. I think now, having been a senior PAAC member, I think it's been, I remember talking to Annie Kennedy, who helped initiate and start this group, and who we miss dearly. So yeah, we're really grateful to her for starting that. And I think I remember talking to her in 2014 before starting the PAAC, and she was telling me about it and saying, "Oh, you should join." And I thought to myself, "Oh, I never joined." But then here, 10 years later, I'm the president of the PAAC. So it really shows how things can. It's not like your life. You can control what your life. Don't let it. You can control your life's journey. Don't let it control you. And I think also looking back, I think a lot of what I am doing on the PAAC is I think my family and I are really grateful to the Supportive Parent Project. You know, I was diagnosed in 1998, and when met Pat shortly after, but I think we're really grateful to PPMD, and I want to give back to a community and group that has been so supportive to me, my family, in the same respect. So yeah, just really honored and thankful to be a part of this family.
And I'm gonna toot your horn for you, because I know you won't, but Colin and Adith and a bunch of other PAAC members, what is it, the Pharma Project, a year and a half?
Mm-hmm.
They decided that they wanted to talk to the pharmaceutical companies themselves and speak to them a little bit about clinical trials on older men, because we always talk about expanding the lifespan. Well, now we have, and so we're here, but we're kind of like hearing about all this science for 4-year-olds. And we get why, but we just wanted to put ourselves in front of them and say, don't forget about us. So Colin, Adith, and their working group interviewed more than 30 pharmaceutical companies over the past year and a half, and it culminated in a project last night at the Drug Development Roundtable where they got to present their data. And I was just so proud to be in the room because they were sitting in front of these industry partners and basically saying, here we are, we refuse to be ignored, and we want you to acknowledge that we're here. And they pretty much, with the help of Eric Camino and PPMD staff, they single-handedly did that. And I thought, man, like, talk about moving the needle and changing the world. And it was great to get in the room, and now there's continuing dialogue, and we're looking at different endpoints and all kinds of great science. So, you know, we say we play fantasy football and have a Discord. We do, but we also are doing stuff like this. So to me, that's the most proud reason to belong to this group, because we're changing the world. And all joking aside, Ravi, did you want to talk about before and
I
after
wanted to say something.
Yeah.
I think like the biggest thing with Duchenne is you have a lot of social isolation. So before I joined the PAAC, like I was very socially anxious, and I still am to some extent. But I think PAAC has opened me up as a person, and although it's not just a social group and we actually do real work, like you just mentioned, I think a big thing for young men is just breaking their shell, and then once they get into a group that they're comfortable with, they realize that they have meaningful things that they can contribute, and everyone on the PAAC is very different in terms of what they can bring to the table, but everyone brings something to the table.
Yep, and I'll say too, for Ravi, one of the things we do at our meetings is we spotlight each other. We spotlight each other as members of what we're doing in the community. And quite a while ago, Ravi spotlighted the fact that to volunteer and give back his time, he was trained, and I don't know if you're still doing it, but he was trained as a monitor for suicide hotline in his state or national?
It's a national hotline.
National hotline for suicide, and I thought, man, that's cool. And he presented to the whole PAAC of like, here's something else you can do. Don't think you can't do anything. You can literally over the phone help save lives. And I commend you for doing that. I think it's outstanding. So, all right, this is good.
I just want to say one thing about that.
Yeah.
So like we learn from each other on the PAAC. After Ravi gave his presentation, I decided, you know, I want to do that too, because I was part of a counseling hotline in college. And so after Ravi gave his presentation about being there for the national hotline, I decided I wanted to start that training. So, you know, we learn from each other, and, you know, we're more than we're family, you know, all of us up here. So I think that's the biggest thing I've personally gotten out of the PAAC, because when I was younger, before I went to MDA camp, I had never met another person with Duchenne in my life. Then I went to MDA camp and I saw all of these people living their best lives. And unfortunately, my MDA camp is no longer in operation. All of those campers go to a different camp now. So that family kind of fell apart. And so I learned about the PAAC by actually looking at the newsletter when I went for a clinic appointment at Kennedy Krieger. And I saw the newsletter there, and I was like, you know, I want to join the PAAC. Once I was out of college, because I was in college at the time, and I didn't think I had the time to commit to it. So right afterwards, during COVID, that's when I joined. So, you know, it's a family. That's all I have to say about that.
And yeah. We do send a quarterly newsletter out to all the CDCCs in the country, and we ask them to share them at the clinic visits, either by the link or on paper. So if you go and you're not ever seeing or hearing one, shame them.
So this is a question for those of us with muscular dystrophy on the cusp of adulthood. How do you particularly deal with adversity and things that are clearly unjust as an adult?
Well, that's a good question.
You've stumped the panel.
You keep fighting. You don't stop. A lot of people know I work at ESPN. It's a large company, and I don't know how many doors I've knocked down to get the things that I want. Some of them I still haven't gotten, but I will continue to knock down those doors until I figure out a way to solve the problems. You just don't stop until someone hears you and you make us think that, this is a real problem and we need to fix it.
Yeah, and to add on to that, the saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you consistently bring up these problems and make those who can change that aware of them, that will help get those problems addressed.
I can share a little about my experience with that as well. So in college, I went to the University of Maryland, and they were pretty accessible, but there were a lot of physical issues on campus. So basically, I wrote all of these issues up in I don't want to call it a smear campaign, but yeah,
But it was.
It kind of was. And the university took notice and were like, whoa, we don't need people to know about all of these issues. Let's talk to him and figure out how to fix these issues. So sometimes you need to go a step further and, say, okay, if we don't fix this, I'm going to make a big deal out of it. I'm going to go to the media and everyone's going to hear.
Yeah, yes. You guys have all learned, living in towns and cities all over the country, when the press gets involved, things start to move rather rapidly a lot of times. Sometimes that's what's called for. Not that we're complaining about, this is wrong, we have to fit, but I see it always as another angle of education. Here's a problem maybe a lot of people don't notice. Here's how we can help fix it. Plus, we all kind of just like to be on TV under the lights.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to be a lawyer, is because the world is unjust, but there are people that are working to make it more just. So I think that's very important to knock down barriers and to have someone with knowledge about what it's like living with a disability, trying to make the system a little bit more just for people like us is very important.
Yeah. And I just want to know, I should know this, but I don't. When do you take the bar?
In July 30th.
End of July?
Yeah, this July.
I see Emily over here, part of the PPMD media team. We're going to need a blog post about the bar. Prepare. That's got to go out to everyone. Yes, young lady?
I wanted to ask on behalf of younger families who are trying to decide the best education for their child, knowing that they have these extra needs, if you can speak to your experience, any advice, suggestions about navigating the decision between homeschooling, private schooling, or public schooling. And obviously it's an individual decision and it varies on conditions, but just your experiences and any advice or suggestions on that.
Outstanding question. First of all, how many people, wave your paw, went to public school? Okay, private? Homeschool? Okay, so that gives you a little cross-reference. Maybe we can hear from someone public, someone private?
I guess I can share about public school. So we live in a small rural town in Virginia, a very small county. So all the public schools are in one area, but I think the advantage of being in the rural area was the school system was very accommodating to my needs. So was able to have an abbreviated schedule, things like that through a 504 plan, which is basically a plan for you or your son to get the accommodations that they need at school. So having a written guideline stating all these accommodations that you get, and obviously since being public school, it's mandated that you should accommodate that. I know some people have more issues than others at schools, but I'm grateful we had the flexibility to meet my needs and have the abbreviated schedule and extra time on tests, things like that.
I also feel like in public school, having the opportunity or working with one-on-one aides makes it a lot easier when you transition into adulthood because you already have some experience under your belt navigating caregiver and patient relationships.
I went to private school. I will say, disclaimer, my kids are in public school and it's definitely more individualized than it used to be. But the good thing about being in private school for me, when the classes were 8 to 10 kids, it was more individualized with the teacher. So if there is anything that you needed, you could go directly to the teacher and build that relationship.
I think going to public school is helpful because your child or the person you know is already isolated. So isolating them even more, I don't think is the best for them. And then also being in public school, it's somewhere to learn to advocate for yourself, whether you need some of the accommodations that Colin was talking about. Doing that before college is definitely helpful.
And, well, Mike Voto's about to tell you that he used to light the gas lamps before school every day in New York.
Well, from what I know now as an adult, and I have a young great-nephew that has brittle bone disease, I think the public education is much better at this time because they have more resources they're able to offer and whatnot. And you are, believe it or not, more protected, I think, in public school at this time versus private school. But I had both experiences. When I was young, I made it up to the 6th grade in public school, and then I was a bad guy, and my dad got mad and said, "Oh, you're going to private school." And I graduated from private school, and it was good, but not like public school. Public school offered a lot more.
I think this wouldn't be a conference without a little surprise at the end, so we're actually going to take one more question, and then we have a little something for you. Sir?
Well, yeah, I think this is a great group. I was wondering if there's anything similar for teenagers, and if not, any advice in setting, any words of advice to set up a similar thing.
Good luck.
We have a tween group as well, and actually our lovely friend Pat here leads it. So I think, and I mean, we're always happy to reach out to your sons. I know it can be awkward talking to an older guy, but we're here for them. Don't be afraid to approach us.
Well, and honestly, with the tweens, we do a few times a year, we have Zooms where they just come on and we play trivia and do some games. We don't really talk too much about muscular dystrophy. We just kind of get together and play games, and through organic conversation, we realize everybody's kind of dealing with the same thing. We were trying to kind of start a mentor program, but like Colin said, when you're 12 or 13, you may not want to talk to someone that's 30. So we're not too sure how to grow that yet, but we do, like I said, the tween thing. And of course, here at conference, I mean, we've had between 35 and 40 people up in our Champions Gate room. It's been like a clubhouse, and we've been doing all kinds of theater and drama games and trivia. And, we had my buddy Jim performed at the social, some music, and we've kind of just tried to organically say that this is just kind of a club. So I would say to you and everyone in the room that has a younger son or daughter, when they're ready, we're here, and they can contact us at any time. So I want to thank, and I know there's some PAAC members in the audience that didn't come up front. Thank you, sir. But I want to thank all of the PAAC members for your support too. I've had a tough year, and they were right there in the winter to pick me up. I love all you guys, and I think this is a really special group, and it's great. And onward we fight. So the PPMD PAAC, ladies and gentlemen.